Welcome to my session. My name is Kella, and a little bit about me. I am a college student at UW-Milwaukee. I'm studying nutritional sciences, and I'm getting a certificate in complementary and integrative health approaches. Super long, I don't know why. But I'm also a shift supervisor at Starbucks, and I also have my own health coaching company. So it's kind of a little bit about me. And this session is basically how to not overplan your life and how to really let God's plan more so come into your life versus basically just like, this is my plan and I'm going to do my plan and then get disappointed. So this is also going to be more of like a conversation. No, like, I don't have any PowerPoints or anything. We're just going to have like a talk and it's going to be awesome. Take notes as you like. I don't have handouts either. And we're going to jump right in. We're going to be very vulnerable and open too. So if you have questions or anything, feel free to raise your hand, ask any questions. So we're going to begin with some questions. And I'm just going to ask you to raise your hand if they apply to you. So I consider myself a planner. All right, cool. My life is different than what I planned. Awesome. I love to feel control in my life. That's me too. Yup. Sometimes I doubt God is leading me the right way. That is also me. And that's just the truth. That's what happens when we try to overplan our own life. So thank you all for your honesty, because sometimes that is kind of difficult to take a step back and give God control. So before we jump in, kind of a backstory about why I'm talking about this, and a story about my life. So we're going to go back to 8th grade. Great. Is little Kella, and she decides she's going to be an athletic trainer. 8th grade. I figured out what I was going to do with my life. I win. It's great. Like, nobody else knew what they were going to do. I was the only one who knew. I felt like I was ahead of the game. I get into high school, I'm still going to be an athletic trainer. And all of my advisors are asking me, they're like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I'm going to be an athletic trainer. And I was super confident. And they're like, are you sure? Like, did you look at all your options? And I was like, I'm going to be an athletic trainer. Like, just, that's all that I thought. I was so narrow-minded. Friends and family were like, are you sure? Like, asking me again. And I'm like, I'm an athletic trainer. Like, that's it. That's what I'm doing. So I start looking at schools and colleges for athletic training. And I tour some of them. And I decide that I'm going to go to UW-Eau Claire, which is about like 4 hours north. So I get there. I'm going to be an athletic trainer. It's great. Meet all of my friends who are athletic trainers. Can you see like a kind of like a trend? Yeah. And I'm in the programs, and I start getting like a little uneasy, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. And then it turns farther, and I'm like, crap, I really don't want to do this. I'm already here though, and I'm super alone. There was nobody there who was like, I didn't really have any friends like I thought I did, but I really didn't, because everybody's new. I felt completely alone. I was 4 hours away from the nearest family. I had nothing. I started to get really bad anxiety and depression, to the point where I was getting panic attacks. And I remember the day I was like freaking out. I was Googling online, like, what do I want to do with my life? What do I want to do? Like, should I go? Like, taking all these weird BuzzFeed quizzes and like all this like stuff like that. And I remember freaking out, and I just remember I like was crying, and I just like hit the floor. I couldn't breathe. I was just crying on the floor. I tried to call my mom. She didn't answer right away. That made me freak out even more. And I was helpless. I couldn't do anything. It was like my first giant panic attack. And that really like brought me to the low ground. I went to a counselor and I was put on medications for anxiety and depression. And then dealt with panic attacks for a while because I overplanned my life. And I had no idea who I was because I was going to be an athletic trainer for the past 4 years of my life. And that's who I identified as. So coming back from that, it was very stressful. It was a super stressful time, and I had no idea. And I felt extremely lost and I just felt like there was nothing for me. But I came back home, kind of refigured my life, just kind of chilled out a little bit, like relaxed, like be like, okay, like I don't know what I want to do, and that's okay. That took a long time for me to say that's okay, because I always want to know what I'm doing. I need control of my life, which is my own problem. But I share this with you because sometimes God changes our lives and he has other things in mind for us versus what our plans are. Something about this, though, is that we're not robots. We don't have like one set plan. It's like, I'm following you, God. This is where I'm going. You're just leading me around. That's not how God is in our life. In Psalm 138, verse 8, God says, the Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. And we're on this earth to spread God's love to people and share his word. That's really like what our purpose is. Things we do in life, like that just helps. That just helps us live, helps us survive, like money, things like that. But really, we want to share God's word with people. And God says in like Jeremiah 29:11 that I know the plans I have for you. And that wasn't like a good thing. Like the story after that is that people's lives were basically like ruined. But God says he's not going to harm you, like he's going to help you. And the thing is, we're here and we're trying to create our best lives, but we're trying to do that to our own standards and our own wants. And that's not going to work because we're not God. And God is the only one who can really help us and prepare us for what he wants for us. So I have 3 points about this and how we can prepare ourselves for whatever life is going to throw at us, whatever God's going to throw at us. And the first point is to be spiritually strong. This is the most important. If you're going to be trusting in God, you have to be spiritually strong. I have a question. Do you guys trust God? Yeah? Trust God? We say we trust God sometimes. If we trusted God, then why would he lead you? Like, why would we not trust him that he'll lead us somewhere? Like, he's leading us somewhere. If we say we trust him, we should trust him. Thinking about Job, do you all know this story about Job? Yeah? Cool. So, do you think he planned that? Like, he's like, I can't wait to have my whole family die and me be sick and just my friends want me to die. He didn't plan that at all. And in the book of Job, he said, I know that you can do all things. No plan of yours can be prevented. And I don't know, but hearing Job say that after all of this happened, saying like no plans of yours can be prevented, that's just super powerful for me. So going off of this, like we all know what we're supposed to do, right? Read the Bible more, go to Bible studies, go to church, have accountability groups, but do we do it? I know I can do better, and I know probably other people can do better too. So being spiritually strong. What does a relationship look like? Like shout out some words that a good relationship would have qualities. Respect. Healthy communication, trust, understanding, all of these things. What? Patience. Yes. So all of these things, these are relationship qualities, right? Great relationship. And now compare that to your relationship with God. He has all of that for us, but are we patient with him? Do we trust him? Do we respect him? Do we understand? Well, we can't understand him, but try to. That's something that can take you to the next level of your faith. Like trying to pursue that relationship with God, with how a relationship is supposed to be. That's a way that we can be spiritually strong. So kind of going off of that, Have any of you ever heard the phrase, let go and let God? Like it's a common phrase. No? Okay, now you have. Let go and let God. So I like this phrase, but we have to be careful with let go. Let go doesn't mean like I'm going to sit down and, God, I'm ready. Just do whatever you want. I'm here. I'm letting go. You have my life. I'm just going to sit here and let you do whatever you want. And not do anything. That's not what it means. Let go means like you still have to work hard. You still have to try to do things. You still have to set your mind on something and do your best. You can't just sit there and be like, use me. You can, but you have to do something. So the Bible passage, well done, good and faithful servant, I heard this. I was challenged. So well done. Well done means that you had to do something. And when I heard that, I was like, whoa, like I've never thought of that before. If God says, well done, good and faithful servant, we have to do something. We can't just sit here and be like, God's going to use me in my life, and I'm just going to sit in my room, and it's all going to happen to me. People are going to come to me. I'm going to get all these opportunities. That's not going to work. That's not how it happens. So going into my second point, so first point, be spiritually strong. Second point is to be physically and mentally strong. Some of you are like, okay, how can physically and mentally strong help God's plan in my life? And I have to talk about this too, like I'm a health coach. I have to bring this in somewhere. But this idea is so physically strong. I'm not saying that God will only use you if you're the ultimate human and you're super buff. That is not what I'm talking about. Being strong enough and healthy enough to live your life is what I'm talking about, and live it properly. If you don't show up for your life, then how can God use you? If you're not prepared, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you just sit in your room and play video games and eat junk food, how is God ever going to be able to use you if you're not healthy? Like, it just comes down to that. And again, we all know what we need to do. Eat healthy, sleep more, work out, all that kind of stuff. But there's nothing I can say besides just do it. Like, you can do it. It's going to be awesome. And like, imagine if God is like trying to send you a certain direction and you're not healthy enough to get there. If you need more energy to get to the point where he wants you to be, but you don't sleep enough, how is that opportunity ever going to work for you? It's not going to work. If you need a lot of like patience and understanding, and you need to like eat properly, all this kind of stuff, and you're not doing it, God won't be able to, he won't be able to really grab on to the opportunity that he's giving you. So I have to throw this in because I love health. But just kind of an eye-opening fact, but less than 5% of American adults get in 30 minutes of physical activity daily. Out of millions of people, 5% get less than that, 30 minutes. That's nothing. Also, 5% of American adults only get the recommended fruit and vegetable intake each week. So out of millions, only 5% of people are eating enough fruits and vegetables each week. How is God supposed to use that? If we're supposed to take care of ourselves, he says that our bodies are his temples. How is he supposed to use something that isn't even worth it? Like, it's not to the standard that he wants. So we have to take care of ourselves. Same with mentally. How are you supposed to, like, one of the things I heard is, how can you pour from an empty cup? Because you can't. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you don't, like, give yourself time to rest, give yourself time to kind of just decompress, you can't give anything. And God is not going to be able to mentally use you to help another person if you're not in the right state of mind. So kind of going into worry. So I worry a lot. It's a problem that I have. Things like, what do I look like? Where will I work? What am I going to do? Who am I going to marry? How many likes do I get? All of these kind of things. And in Matthew 6, let me read this to you. It says, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is life more important than food and more important than clothes? Who of you by worrying can add a single hour to his life? Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. God tells us not to worry. So if we're worrying and sitting here and trying to plan, if you're okay, tomorrow, I'm gonna do this, and you don't even have today set, you're already setting yourself up for failure, and it's not gonna go well. You're creating stress for you that you don't even need. Something that I heard also is that a lot of times we create problems that don't exist. A lot of times, we make problems that exist that don't actually exist, and because we decided that they were going to be problems. They weren't problems. In the last section, somebody mentioned that they had to bring their kids to soccer practice, and they were freaking out because it's going to be late. That wasn't a problem until they made it a problem, kind of thing. Jumping into a little bit about social media too. This also creates a lot of unnecessary stress in our lives. And how I kind of combated this was I put a block on my phone, actually, so that I can't get into social media after 9:30 at night, so that I go to bed, and so that I actually just disconnect. I'm not just sitting there scrolling, because it's super, super unhealthy to always be connected and always be in the know and always doing something. God tells us, be still. When was the last time you were still? Still is super hard to do because it's not in our world. It's not in our life. But we need to be still. So, quote, if you can't tell, I like quotes. I painted this picture for a project, and it was a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it says, "Let us be silent that we may hear the whisper of God." And that quote is just God's whisper. He's not going to shout at you, do that. He's not a big coach guy. It's the small little things. He's going to whisper to you. And if you're just so busy and your life's so chaotic and you don't even allow any time for him to talk to you, how are you going to ever hear the whisper? So we're going to do something super fun. Get pumped. I know you're excited. We're going to do a deep breathing exercise because it is important to understand what still is. So you can sit up and get comfortable, both legs on the ground. And as you get here, I just want you to close your eyes. And I just want you to take a deep breath in and out. And in and out. And as you're sitting here, I just want you to experience what this stillness is. With the deep breathing, it's quiet. Just stillness in your body. It's nothing that you need to do, nowhere you have to be. You're just right here at this moment, being still. So keep breathing in and out. This is what God wants. He wants us to be still. He wants us to take a moment to rest. Take the time to just be and not do. We're going to take a few more deep breaths, just breathing in and out. Okay, and then you can come back, open our eyes, come back to this moment. Have any of you ever done something like that before? Yeah? So, stillness, it's something that we need more of. We need to take this time to be still and just, it's okay. Breath in and out and be still. So, we're going to be spiritually strong so far. I'm going to be mentally and physically strong because God needs to use us, and we need to be ready to be used. The final point that I have is that we need to be present. You need to be present in your life right now. There's opportunities all around you. And if you're too worried about something in the past or something in the future or whatever, how are you ever going to have the opportunity right now? Something that I've thought about is, since we're not robots and God isn't like, you shall go here. He moves mountains for us and has this whole, he could clear a giant path and have big arrows, and it's like, go here, do this, go. And we could be like, I like this over here instead. We can totally just ignore what the big sign is for our life because we're either not present, we have other plans, or whatever, another excuse or something. But we need to be able to be present and know that God is with us. And he is sending us opportunities all the time, but we just have to take them. And sometimes we do get caught up in past, present, future, whatever. So if sometimes though, if God really needs us to get somewhere, we're going to get there. There's no doubt about it. He's going to send us there. But a lot of times it's not. We don't follow the path that he has clearly set up for us already. So going off of that, maybe God's trying to get your attention right now, but you're so set on your current plan that you're just nope, I'm going to go this way. And God's like, okay. I'll use it, but okay. So whatever you think you're supposed to do or you think you're supposed to be, I need you to let that go right now. And I want you to lean into God and who you really are. It's time to stop pretending. It's time to stop lying to yourself. If there's something that you think you are and you're trying super hard to be and you're not, and you're lying to yourself, it's time to come to terms with that. Be the person you actually are. Don't be somebody else because you can't be anybody else. You can't have anybody else's plan. God has something for you, not you trying to be somebody else and do their thing. You have to do your own thing. And he cares about you. He's created you for this specific purpose. He's not just going to drop you somewhere. And you need to be fully prepared for that because you need to be yourself. And God's going to use you because he's created you that way. So the three things that we have to do is spiritually strong, and we have to be physically and mentally strong, and we also have to be present in our lives. And that's really how God is going to come in and let us stop over-planning all of our life and get disappointed when our plans don't work. Because if we're trying to make our plans God's plans, that's not going to work at all. Because we don't have control over God. So why are we trying so hard? Or why do we get disappointed? We're going to fail. We're going to have hardships. It's going to be just terrible sometimes. But God's not just going to let you go. He's not going to say bye. He's still going to be with you. So just put your full trust, knowing that God is with you and that he's going to be helping you. And what we're going to be doing for the last little bit, what time is it? 10:54. What we're going to be doing is breaking up into small little groups and discussing and sharing the question, what is one thing you'll change in your life right now to prepare for God's plan? Maybe you have a habit that you do. Maybe you're doing something that you're kind of I'm just kind of doing it because it's there. But there's something that you could be doing. Or maybe there's just a small little thing that you want to be doing that you're not doing, spending more time with God, things like that. So we're going to break up. How many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we could do 4 groups of 3. That works, math. And we're just going to discuss that one question. What's the one thing that you're going to change in your life right now to prepare for God's plan? So we can get into groups. And then we're going to come back if anybody wants to share anything. And then we're going to pray it out. Sweet. Go. Whoever breaks want to go. Look at, there's 3, 3, 3, 3. Just like that. Time does this end? Okay. All right, we're going to bring it back. Some good conversations. Does anybody want to share what they're going to be doing starting today or when you get home to prepare more for letting God deal with your life, not you taking over your life? Yes. Yeah. Totally understand that. I also like I have schedules and I'm like, okay, I start school on this day and then this and this and like I totally like overplan my own life, which is I have to keep talking about this so that it becomes real in my head. But that's a great idea to keep doing that and kind of like set your schedule so that you can be present right now and not be present in the future. Awesome.
Mine was the same. To be more present, but I think I have like a little bit of the opposite problem where I'm too like focused on like things that have happened and not focusing on what's like currently happening to me or like could be then happening to me in the future. So like being present, but in like the opposite way where I need to be like prepared for like God to be working in my life and like be present for my own life.
Mm-hmm. And not worrying about like past things as much.
Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Mine is the be present too, but just a little bit different angle too. So I'm a very task oriented, get all these things done sort of thing, and what that often causes me to do is to not really pay close attention to people, and so what I want to do is I want to be more present when someone shows up. I want to be present with them instead of thinking, okay, they'll talk and then I can go on with my work, right? Once they're done or whatever, and to say, no, whatever time this takes, whatever they need, that's what I'm here for, because God didn't really make me to do things, but to be in relationship.
Yeah. Which can be difficult, especially if you're like, I need to get this done and this done and this done. Yeah.
I'm so driven by that. It's terrible.
Yes. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else?
Kind of building off his, for me, I think it's figuring out more time management of what I do week in and week out. The older I get, the shorter weeks feel all the time, and I feel like there's always so many things I want to do that I have to do that I don't leave time for, like being more involved in church or joining a Bible group study. I make excuses all the time for things like that. Getting older too, I feel like I do need to have more physical exercise. I can't just be eating frozen pizzas and mac and cheese every day and still feel good about it.
Yeah.
I realize I need to exercise more, and that's something that I started doing. But it's another thing like I got to do this every day now. Like that's an hour of time I couldn't do something else. So figuring out how I can fit these things in my schedule. And I'm not a big planner, really. But yet I just feel like I'm always busy all the time.
Gotcha. So like figuring out how to like section out your time.
Sure,
Yeah.
Something like that.
Gotcha. Yes.
And more time for other experiences to fit their way in. That are a little more aligned with what God's plan is and not what my plan is.
Yeah. Awesome. Sweet. Anybody else? You don't have to, but.
Kella,
Cool.
Something like this is really awesome. What's your suggestion for us 3 weeks from now to go back to some of these conversations and be reminded of that and to be re-encouraged maybe in some of the things that were shared and some of the things that you shared with us?
Yeah. So great question. Thank you. One thing that I think is a very good idea is, well, you have notes. So that also helps because when you write things down, they become more real. That's a great thing to refer back to. Another thing is to get somebody that can keep you accountable. Like, accountability is such a huge thing. If you have like these things on your heart and you share it with somebody and you're like, I'm gonna do this and I want you to like be super strict with me, you have to have somebody who can do that with you and be super honest. But have somebody who can be like, hey, did you do this? And then if you're like, oh no, I didn't do that, that they're gonna be like, well, come on, like, what's stopping you? Let's figure this out. You have to do this. Something that I've learned about habits is that habits are a giant thing. If you create the things that you want to do into something that you need to do, it creates necessity. So in your head, you're like, okay, this is like something I need to do, not have to do. And habits, once you have a habit, like your brain, you just do it. An example of that is I carry a water bottle with me. So it's just a habit for me to drink water now. And I drink like a ton of water. But before I had a water bottle, I didn't drink that much water because it wasn't my habit to have one. Same with like waking up at a certain time if you have that. Or if you have like a set Bible time. Let's say you start creating a habit. It's not easy to create habits. You're like, at 10 a.m. on this day, I'm going to read the Bible. And that's what it is. There's nothing else in that time. That's all that you have for that time. Soon it'll just become a habit. In like 3 weeks, 3 months, a year later, you're like, it's 10 a.m. on Tuesday, it's time to read the Bible. And there's nothing else, like, it's just something that happens. So that's kind of my tips.
And then what about the difference between a person who encourages you and a person who guilts you?
Like, on the basis of what?
Yeah, absolutely.
For what? Accountability, so encourage versus guilt.
Yeah.
So that can be difficult. Encouragement is you need like a fine line between encouragement and guilt. Because if you're just guilted, like you're just going to give up eventually. But if you're just encouraged, then doing anything bad doesn't really matter. Because they're just going to be like, you can do it again. Come on, you can do it. So you need somebody who's just like brutally honest. That's basically what you need. But somebody who loves you enough to tell you the truth. Because if they come from love, then that's automatically like encouraging to you. So if you want to read the Bible, let's say I want to read the Bible more, and I tell somebody that, and they say, and I tell them that I didn't do it, and if they're just like, well, you suck, like that's not encouraging, and that's just like guilt, and kind of aggravating a little bit. But kind of you could also set up the boundary with that person, saying like, this is what I'm asking for, this is what I need, so that it's kind of set up. Because a lot of times with like accountability, people don't really know what that means or what they want from it. Like some people want to be accountable, but they really just want to like share and not get any like feedback from it. Just like, yeah, this happened. And then if they just have somebody who's just like, cool, and nothing ever happens, like that's not going to be a good relationship with that. So you need somebody who's like brutally honest, who loves you. Thank you.
Pick the right person.
Yeah. Sweet. All right, we're going to close with prayer. Okay, dear Lord, thank you for bringing us all here to this conference. You have given us this time to grow in your word and grow with one another. Sometimes we take our lives into our hands and forget that you created us and you ultimately have the say in our life. We doubt you. We don't trust in you. We try to make our plans your plans. And this is not what we should be doing. Help us to really just lean into you and dig into what you want for us, God. Sometimes we can get frustrated or overwhelmed or just lose patience in whatever we're doing. But we just really ask you, Lord, to take over our lives and help us in whatever that you want us to do to just keep going. We also thank you, Lord, for all of the blessings that you've given us so far and for giving us the time to learn and grow in you. And we ask all of this in your name. Amen.